Hey, welcome to Film Trooper. I can never get this right. Welcome to Film Trooper Presents Film Marketing Fridays. And I am not drunk, but I probably should be. And I am your host, Scott McMahon. There I am. So, welcome. If you've never been to one of these live hangouts, it's pretty rough. Um, because it's like any live web show. Um, some of you might be seeing me stuttering. I don't know what the connection is, but hold on for a second. I need to get a quick pop of this juice. I'm not a, I don't, they're not sponsoring this show, but I do drink a lot of these FRS, 20 calories. I think they're all natural except for one ingredient that probably will kill me later. Anyhow, let's see here. The Q&A app is activated, so if any of you are out there in Webland, feel free to use the question and answering app to throw me a question during this hangout. So this one is focusing on how do you sell your film on Amazon, and specifically how self-published authors are doing it, and what we can learn from it as filmmakers. So we'll just get right into it. Blah, blah, blah. We go to screen share. And here it is, the little slide. Let's go to the next slide. Here we are. How to sell your film on Amazon. Now, there's already been a lot of articles about this, but again, you'll see how I'm specifically trying to find successful strategies that other people have used for other digital products and how we can use that for a film product. So number one, you have an account to Amazon. Duh, obvious. You can submit your film as a physical product via CreateSpace, which is a company that is owned by Amazon and works in conjunction with Amazon. Essentially, you can submit your movie, so you let Amazon and CreateSpace actually manufacture and ship out a physical DVD or physical DVDs of your movie, so you don't have to spend all that manufacturing and shipping and storage costs, like maybe it's in your garage, and then you would have to deal with going to the post office or a parcel service to then ship out and fulfill the orders. The benefit of using something like CreateSpace is you upload your file, um, you create on the fly your DVD, all the artwork and everything that you need to make happen, and then you can just start setting people to the link, and through via Amazon CreateSpace, they can get a physical version of your DVD. So that's sort of the basic of operations of how to use CreateSpace for a physical product. And they do other things besides movies and DVDs. They do, book publishing and book bounding and so on like that. Or you can upload your digital file to be sold through Amazon Instant Video. And you can actually learn more about this from our good friend over at filmmakingstuff.com, Jason Brubaker. And this is a great link. And to see what this link sends you to is this here. So I pop over to the other, no, not me. Oh, here it is. It's the Jason's site here. So close out the pop-up box, and that link will send you to this post about 2 years old. It's how do I sell my movie on Amazon? And Jason, if anybody knows anything about direct digital distribution, would be Jason Brubaker at filmmakingstuff.com. But you can check out this link and see what he has to say about selling your movie via sort of CreateSpace. But back to, again, the specific um, concept of how some. Oh, hey, how you doing? Sorry, somebody just wrote in. Ed Starkey. Yes. Does CreateSpace do Blu-ray? Yes, they do, I believe. Let's see here. And how do I write back to you? I want to write back to you. Where's my? Oh, I got to answer the Q&A app. Sorry, bud. It's just here we go. Q&A. So Ed, yeah, if you're Blu-ray, that's a good question. I think you have to upload your digital file, your H.264 file in the HD format, and have them do that. That'll be a huge lifesaver, having them create the Blu-ray portion. And if you see here, but I wanted to jump on to how individual independent book authors are utilizing Amazon to their full advantage, and how perhaps filmmakers could do the same. So we're going to jump back into the slide share, and here we go. So the next slide. So the main point of all this is like, let's be successful. Not just throw it up there, because that's just sort of the basics. Like, hey, I made a film, or I made a book, or I made a digital product. Now I'm setting it up and I'm just going to sell it in the marketplace of Amazon. But how do you become successful with that sale? And that's really the whole point. Just talk. Oh, that's good. Sorry, Ed. I just saw that. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking. I'll find out your question, Ed, specifically, and that's a very good question. Whether or not CreateSpace does handle Blu-ray manufacturing and production, which would be, they should by now. I mean, Blu-ray's been around for a while, but I will double check with you real quick here. So anyhow, let's be successful with our sale. So how do independent authors find success with Amazon? And so we're going to follow what self-published authors do to become successful. And we're going to compare selling a digital book and how that compares to selling a digital movie. So ready? Let's begin. So first thing they recommend, these are the people that are successful. I had not yet done this, but this is what they recommend, which is really fascinating. They say build a launch group. Why? And again, a lot of everything I'm learning that I'm sharing with you is from, hold on here, whoops, is from these guys, or one of the main guys I follow. His name is Pat Flynn over at Smart Passive Income. And in this link here, we'll show you this great podcast episode to check out if you want to learn more about where I'm drawing this these analogies or comparisons with. So I want to make sure I provide that link and give credit to where all this stuff is really coming from. And I'm just trying to figure out how we can apply it to a film product. So you build a launch group, right? So then what does that launch group do? So maybe you start with 100 people. And this is like a private Facebook group. Maybe it's, maybe it's a private Google Plus community group. But you start with 100 people, and the idea is that you'll be giving your book away or your film away for free to this launch group of 100 people, And this is, so you're like, okay, whoa, how does that work? And why would I give away something free to 100 people? Because in exchange, you want this launch group, you'll need to ask them to leave an honest rating and review of your book or your film on Amazon. Now, I think you're beginning to see maybe how this would work. So before you even make your film, or before you even launch your film, or even before you launch your book, you gather this group. We've heard this all over the place now about how independent filmmakers need to build their audience. Well, this is one way to do it. And one way to do it is actually giving them away something for free, but knowing that you're targeting a very specific marketplace, which would be Amazon. So let's move forward. So you build a launch group. So you start with 100 people. You're going to give away your product for free. In exchange, you're going to need them to give you an honest rating review. You don't want to necessarily bribe people to say something wonderful when that's maybe your product isn't that great. It probably is more, be great if it was great and people liked it, but you probably need that, within that 100 group, people, maybe a variety of people actually honestly do give you 5 stars, or maybe they give you 4 or 3, because that looks, it looks authentic, and that's what you want. Hopefully you don't get a bunch of 1 stars, and then you really need to go back and figure out what the hell happened to your product, which could happen. So here we go. So why is Amazon so powerful? Well, Amazon is a search engine, but not only a search engine. It is a powerful search engine because people are there to shop. Now here's the difference between that, and we'll go into this one. People have their credit cards on file with Amazon. And Amazon has conditioned people with the one-click purchase. So, when you go to Amazon, what we're finding out is not only is it a powerful marketplace, but people aren't looking for something for free there, When they go to Amazon, you're expected to pay for something. I don't think that, once in a while you might see some free giveaways here and there, but psychologically, when a person is searching for anything within Amazon, they're searching to buy, and they have their credit card on file, and they're ready to click purchase. Versus when people are on Google, when people are doing a regular Google web search, and they're looking for stuff for free, free information. So their mindset is different. They have to be convinced, to pay for something. But within Amazon, which is a very powerful search engine, they're already in this mindset of let's buy stuff. So that's why Amazon is so powerful. So the power of the reviews. Now going back to your launch group, so you have 100 people. So again, yeah, you built a launch group of 100 people. They get something for free in exchange for that review, because that's, you want that review. So Amazon seems to reward products with a lot of reviews and attention. So you have to do a lot of this attention stuff, or the submission of reviews in a timely manner, maybe like a week. So imagine like if your book or your film generates 100 reviews in the span of 1 week. So Amazon customers will see the social proof. That means that the product has some meaning. It's meaningful. So let's see here. And this is a case in point of just somebody, just a filmmaker that I like, because I kind of borrow his phrase that he coined called resource filmmaking, Christopher Boghossian. And if we go here to his link, sorry, all this clicking around. Where is it? Music. It's going to shoot back to me. Just shoot back to me real quick. Hi. Okay. So then we're going to go to this other screen share that I have, and we're going to look at Christopher's film, which he made back in last year, Girlfriend 19. He sells on Amazon Instant. So he doesn't. I think he uses CreateSpace for those who want to have a DVD version of it. However, I know that Christopher didn't use this technique of building a launch group of 100 people or so, but he was able to get some reviews, and they're honest reviews. So if you look down here, people, you see the range here. There's some 5 stars, some 4 stars, but there's also some 1 stars as well. The film in particular is very, it's just, honestly, it's very slow moving, but that does not necessarily mean it's a bad film. It's just that the pace of it, and it's a very moody film in terms of what it feels like to go through a really hard breakup, and he sort of encapsulates that weird despair where you feel like, how do you get out of it. So but it's interesting here. I just wanted to show you sort of what the marketplace might look like if your film was on Amazon. Obviously the great thing about Amazon and Netflix, they have this stuff like, hey, if you like this film, then customers also bought these films. So you can imagine, what makes Amazon decide that these films are in line with this particular type of film. Now, can you imagine if you went to this particular film and it had 100 reviews, and a lot of them were 4 and 5 stars, and people, so then perhaps your film could be tied to a more successful film, as long as it's the same genre and whatnot. But this is one way to kind of game the system, or really maximize the system, the marketplace of Amazon. So I wanted to make sure people saw the potential. I mean, obviously, if you type in like, I don't know, say the Avengers, right? Let's go to the movie, The Avengers. There's 8,305 reviews, and all of them are almost, 5-star. So as this thing loads up, and then check this out. Obviously, this is like the high level, studio level, but, if you're a fan of the Marvel world and the comic book stories, the movies like that, boom, you're all here, all here, boom, for you to grab if you're in the buying mood, And imagine if your film had, say, yes, this is 8,000, but say if you just started out with 100, like you say, within the 100 reviews that you had with your launch group, right off the bat, you would have this social proof of all this great, ratings and review. So moving back to the Hangout, moving back to my fat face. Okay, so we'll go over to here. Yeah. So it's really interesting because Amazon sort of allows this opportunity for the independent to really maximize their marketplace. This doesn't exist in Netflix, and this doesn't exist in iTunes, which are great marketplace for film, but maybe not so much for the independent filmmaker, because to, I don't say game the system, to try to game iTunes to get onto like the new noteworthy of releases is very difficult. I mean, obviously they're only grabbing people and showing films that are, have distribution behind it. And so, but Amazon, you can do this on your own, and they do reward if you have enough people chiming into their marketplace about the ratings and review. I know that iTunes works in the podcast world. If you have an 8 week span, that if you want to maximize the exposure of your new podcast, you have about an 8 week span to be part of the new and noteworthy. And a lot of that depends on how many downloads you get and how many ratings and reviews that your podcast earns within that first 8 weeks or within the first week or something like that. Because in that way, once you gain that traction on iTunes charts in terms of what's new and noteworthy in the podcast world, then you can potentially have sustainability in the podcast world later on after the 8 weeks are up. Now, for someone like me who did Film Trooper and just sort of quietly launched it, I missed out completely on that world of the new noteworthy. So I have to sort of do a slow build to have any sort of impact. And I don't, if you type in Film Trooper in iTunes, for some reason it doesn't show up in the podcast, the initial bar that shows up. You have to actually like see all or and go through it, and then it's like 4 levels down or something like that. So it's weird. Understanding how these systems work and how the marketplace works will be advantageous for anybody selling any type of product. So we'll go back to Amazon. We'll go back to the screen share, and here we go. So yeah, so imagine this. So you gave away 100 copies of your movie or your book, and you get in exchange those reviews, ratings, or reviews, and now it's launched on Amazon. You now can say the freebies are over. Now you gotta make some money now. So how do you do that? Well, you've done your part. Give your book away for free. You got the value, the equity of ratings and reviews. Um, Now it's time to do the product launch. And so now you have your book or your film, and you want to do it as a discounted price. Um, and not only that, but you say it only lasts for a week. So then you're going to do all this promotion saying, hey, check out, the film or the book, and here it is on Amazon. Look at all the ratings and reviews. For 1 week only, we're going to be selling it at a very discounted price. But at the same time, but wait, there's more. Obviously you want to use the gimmick that infomercials use all the time, which is like when you think you're done with the sales pitch, they always throw in that little bit like, but wait, there's more. If you order now, you get X amount of stuff for free. Well, you can do the same thing. You can bundle your book, you can bundle your film with some added value or some other products. They got to have some value. It can't be just like fluff and filler. It's got to be basically an offer that's a no-brainer. So when you're selling this to the marketplace via social media, and you have set all the stuff up, you have already established that your movie or it has social proof with 100 reviews. Yes, you gave those movies away for free, but that was a strategy. Now you're ready to sell it, but you're going to sell your movie at a discount, but then you're going to add, I don't know what it is, depending on what your film is. If it's a film about cyclists, maybe it's like, get, I don't know, a free brake inspection or something, or whatever it is, or to bike tune-up at these, nationwide stores or something like that, or, on top of that, you get this free T-shirt or whatever it might be that you think you can handle the value. But so you sell your film or your digital product at a lower price, but then you add all this extra value to it because you got to make that offer for 1 week a no-brainer. And so you do in stages. So you build up the free social proof, then you do the first sales, but your first sales, you want to reward those first adopters, because if they have a good taste in their mouth about the experience of buying your product, where they got all this extra value at a low price, could go a long way, because you need these people to champion what you're creating, your film. And so yes, so you're always building your list, which is, you probably heard, the money is in the list. So always build your list, meaning that at every step, you want to collect emails during your book launch, like that first 100 people in your group. You want to make sure you have those email addresses. You want to make sure you're able to collect email lists of the buyers. And again, an email list of buyers is a more powerful list than a list of people who just opted in for something for free. You'll probably see it all over the internet. It's just like, hey, get this free guide. I do the same thing. I offer a free gear guide at freegearguide.com. It's just an equipment list, but the idea is like, here's something free. It's painless. It's not very long, but maybe you can get some value out of it, and in exchange for an email. Now the difference is, people coming to different websites all over the internet get all this free stuff. Again, people on Google are looking for something for free versus somebody who jumps onto Amazon and is looking to buy. Now the hard thing is there is some ways, which I will follow up maybe in a later episode, of how to extract or how to collect email addresses from people using a marketplace like Amazon, because Amazon won't give you those email addresses. You're going to have to do it in another way, and we'll address that later. But the whole point is, whatever you do, you're trying to build a very strong email list of your buyers, because people who buy your product have a lot more power and a lot more meaning to you later down the line as you continue to make your next film or your next project. And then you got to do something remarkable. So the third step is just do something remarkable. And The Purple Cow is a book by Seth Godin, and the concept is real simple. You have all these cows that are looking the same. How do you stand out? Well, maybe if it's a purple cow, you would stand out. And actually, you can buy that book at Amazon. And if you click that link when you download this PDF later on, when I post this hangout on filmtrooper.com, just to note, this is an affiliate link, just meaning that you click it, I get like 2 cents or something from it if you decide to buy the book. But the concept here is that you've built equity on Amazon. If you have done your due diligence in creating the ratings and review, that's your launch team. If you had sold the product for a discounted price, so then Amazon sees that there's an upswing in sales, because Amazon wants to be able to make money from you, and if you offered you've offered an amazing bundle for the first week's sale, and you want to promote this effort, but you want to be remarkable or just something different, you want to stand out, you want to be the purple cow, and the question is, I'm going to actually swing back here real quick to my big fat head. Come on, hang out. There we go. Whoops. Sorry. Yeah, so I thought that was fascinating because you could see how that would work if you're, an author, you're writing a book, and you share sort of the first chapters, the first 50 chapters as you're working on this book with your launch group. And then eventually they know about it. And then you set like a release date, and then you send this out earlier to your launch group so they can have time to read your book. Hopefully it's not, hopefully it's good, and hopefully it's not too long. But you say, okay, here's the date. You're just marketing to that initial launch group that will, if they're in there, they're there to want to get a free book, but also to be part of your launch, and will be happy to give you an honest rating and review in Amazon. So you can imagine this could work for film. If you have a film product that you built, maybe it's tied into your crowdfunding campaign. So not only are you collecting emails and you're collecting actual sort of pre-sales, because like how it is, like anybody who donates $20 or something automatically gets a copy of the film, But what you want to do is you want to get to that place where those people who have donated, you need their help to do the next step, which is you have to leave a rating and review if you're going to say you launch it on Amazon. And we're going to discuss like why Amazon, and maybe why not take it to an aggregator and go directly to iTunes or Netflix and so on. Why start off with the Amazon marketplace? Or say this is like you had no intention of going to a film festival, like you were just strictly like business, and you're saying, I'm making a digital product. The digital product is a film, and I need to sell it on a marketplace online, and I've chosen Amazon to be that marketplace. So let's discuss that in the next slide here, which is, are we in the right marketplace? Yeah, I don't know, are we? So, Amazon has established itself as a marketplace for books, and other things, of course. But that's their roots. They started off selling books, and so subconsciously they've established enough rapport and loyalty from people needing quickly to buy books. Yes, they do sell movies there. However, that's the question. Do movie buying audiences shop on Amazon for filmed entertainment? They do, but is it like the first go-to destination? What about Netflix and iTunes? Obviously, a lot of people have a Netflix subscription, and they just sometimes have this concept like, oh, I'll just wait till the film's on Netflix. Because their concept is like, their feeling is like, look, I've got so many choices of filmed entertainment to grab, and that I've just paid for this subscription, and I might, I'm going to get through, my Orange is New Black and all the other shows first before I decide to go and check a look at this independent film, that's separate. So if it's on Netflix, cool, I'll check it out. If not, I got other stuff to watch. Or if you're in iTunes for a while now, like I know our family utilizes Apple TV quite a bit, and we just find ourselves, just for the convenience of it, just quickly one click, pop, we're renting a movie through, and it goes through iTunes. And so that's sort of been the viewing habits. But what's to say that Amazon can't be in that same space? Um, I say gaming the system on these other marketplaces is difficult. It is difficult. We don't know how Netflix or iTunes decides what gets shown sort of as their featured, especially iTunes. You don't know what they're going to show up as, like a new release or featured independent film or something like that. And if you can kind of tell, like anybody who has sort of clout or has distribution behind it, a legitimate distributor behind it, they're getting sort of front row attention. The really truly independent films get buried unless they had some sort of wonderful film festival run and things like that, or they have a star that's attached to it. Anything like that, they get the attention. Your movies can get buried in iTunes if you have no clout that way. And so there is no way to really sort of game the system on iTunes like there is the way to game the system on Amazon. I don't know if gaming is the right term. Maybe it's more or less a optimizing and maximizing the marketplace of what's been built on Amazon versus iTunes. Netflix obviously is almost like the last resort, because you probably won't see a lot of, you don't even know, again, what the metrics are. How do you even make money from Netflix? The word out is it's not very transparent. You're giving them a license to utilize your filmed entertainment to be streamed, and maybe you see a couple cents here and there, but there's no way sometimes to maximize how they use their algorithm. I don't know if I pronounce that correctly, but they have their own way of doing their narrow down search of, like, if you like this one film, then you may like these other films, and they have a very unique way of, like Netflix does, of breaking it down, such as horror films that end in on a downer. Those types of films might be all lumped together. They have something like a horror, a comedy that has somebody who always dies. So that might be if you like that one film, you might like a bunch of other films that have sort of death or dark comedy sort of tone to it. So they have, they get really specific, and I don't have the link here. I remember reading a link about this very unusual sort of algorithm and sort of search engine sort of method that Netflix uses to pair one film with other films. Again, so you don't really have control or have opportunity to sort of game the system or maximize the system. Oh, here we go. Hey, Ed. With my Amazon Prime account, I get access to so many movies for free. Exactly. Will Amazon show my movie? If Amazon does show my movie, do I get paid? Yeah, so that's a good question. And that's something that needs to be followed up. It's like, how does Amazon Prime work, and how do they determine which movies are categorized as free? Um, what I suggest for independent filmmakers is that um, I think there's an agreement you could probably make with Amazon saying, no, I'm selling it. I'm not opting into the Amazon Prime for free, unless you want to do it for a short time period as like a promotional thing. So if you had, this is a great question, by the way, Ed. So if you had something where you built, your launch group. You got 100 reviews, ratings to review for your film. Okay. Then you do like the 1 week where you're going to sell it at a discounted rate, so you can control that. I do know that Amazon does this for books, which is you can be part of this interesting sort of partnership program where you don't release your book product to any other platform for like 3 months. And what Amazon does in exchange, and this is on the book side, I don't know if they do this on the movie side just yet, but on the book side, what happens is that you are allowed to give away your book for free in these like for a couple days here and there with that 3 months that you have this exclusive deal distribution deal with Amazon. It's not a distribution deal. It's just meaning that look, you agree that you're going to sell your stuff on Amazon for a 3 month span. In exchange for that, they allow you to sell to give away your product for free, and Amazon takes that and will try to, depending on how what relevance your product has, will lump it together in those customers also bought. So that's where the benefit can come into working with like an Amazon Prime account where you're getting a bunch of stuff free. So somebody is watching a independent action film, and they're watching an Amazon Instant and they're watching it for free. They might see customers also not necessarily bought, but customers also saw or watched these films. And if you're part of that program, again, I have to clarify this with Amazon Prime because I know it works for books, but I don't know if it works for the movie side of things. But that could happen where you're just using it as the whole goal is to get exposure, so that eventually that goal of getting exposure and then prompting or trying to encourage people to leave ratings and reviews, that's the currency that you want. So you're willing to give away your product as long as you can build up that that equity in Amazon. So the whole point is maybe a year down the line, you're no longer doing that, but you have, garnered, say, 500 reviews that are pretty good, and so that has weight and that has value to Amazon, so that later down the line, when they're popping it into their search function of like customers also bought, your film could be there because you've done the legwork to build that equity within Amazon to show value. And that's where maybe near the long tails when you start seeing some income coming in. It's a back and forth. Knowing when you want to give something away for free is the whole goal, is to understand what you're going to get out of it and how do you leverage that for sales later on. So with that said, that's one thing about this marketplace is let's talk about what's just happened recently, which is Amazon has launched Amazon Fire TV to answer the Roku box, to answer the Apple TV, and they also launched the Amazon Fire phone. So they're in the space. They are in the marketplace of having these devices that, you already have, a lot of people already have an Amazon Prime account or their credit cards on file with Amazon. They're used to buying books and everything under the sun in Amazon because their mindset is buying stuff. Now, if you take that world, and people are using, my father-in-law just bought Amazon Fire TV and it looks pretty cool. And so I can see if you properly maximize the marketplace of Amazon through these methods that we just talked about, which is the launch group, which is the ratings and reviews, which is the discounted bundle. You're building equity within that marketplace. You could see in the future when people get more comfortable with watching media through Amazon Fire TV or Amazon Fire phone, that's a whole marketplace where you might want to start out on, because then when you go to iTunes or Netflix, you can carry that leverage with you and use that to promote online, saying, hey, it's no joke, check my stuff out, check my shit out, it's out there, it's pretty good, because if you build the strategy, it can definitely work in your favor. And yeah, like I said, Amazon could be that emerging marketplace. It sounds funny to say Amazon emerging marketplace, but in terms of what people do, in terms of how they absorb or consume filmed entertainment, right now, like I said, people are thinking Netflix and iTunes, but it could be flip on a dime. It could happen within 1 year where Amazon, because of these devices, Amazon Fire TV and Amazon Fire Phone, could be a major player and overtake Netflix or overtake iTunes. You don't know. So it's maybe a great place to maybe start with your film product. So where do I go from here? Now, does this work? Well, let me see. I'm writing a book right now, and it is so I realized, I'm going to follow this advice. So I'm going to need to build a launch group. So, and what is the book? The book is called Survive the Hollywood Implosion, a survival guide for making and selling films online. No festivals, no distributors, no budget, no problem. And so if you want to join this group, I just this actually literally this afternoon I just built this. I'm going to limit it to the first 100 people just to be part of it. And what you get out of it is you get the book for free as I'm ready to launch it. And we'll see if this whole business structure, this whole marketing uh, strategy actually works. For if it works for the book, then why couldn't we just do the same thing for a film product, which I definitely want to try on my next film. Um, and here's the link. It's filmtrooper.com/book launch. And again, that's filmtrooper.com/book launch. You click on this link, it'll take you to the Google Plus private community. Again, it's going to be just for the book launch, and we're going to see if this concept or this strategy actually works, because I'm going to definitely apply it. And if it works for this small book I'm writing, the survival guide I'm writing, believe me, I'm going to try to see if I can't reverse engineer or work it to be the same for a finished film product, or I might just resell my film The Cube on it, see if that works. So let me see here. I'm gonna jump to my big head again. Um, yeah, I don't know if that answers questions, Ed, and thanks for being on this. If on the Q&A, appreciate somebody being out there. Sometimes when you do these things, you have no idea if anybody's out there, but I do know that when we finish the Hangout, you get to publish it onto YouTube, and then I post it on filmtrooper.com, and that allows people to see it later on who can't get a chance to see it. And then I also turn it into a podcast if people just want to, listen to it if they're driving or walking a dog or whatnot. But yeah, I really thought this was fascinating because I do feel that we are in the world of whether or not you're an author, whether or not you're a musician, and now a filmmaker, because films can be made for so inexpensive. I'm a case in point. That movie back there, The Cube, was made for $500 with no crew. It's a feature film, and so I'm selling it right now on Vimeo on demand. But I realized that there's so many things that are wrong with it, and I'm trying to apply some new marketing strategies. And when I heard and read about this concept of like how do you properly launch something as a independent independent author, self-publishing your book on Amazon, I thought this concept was this really basic 1, 2, 3 step was pretty simple but yet effective. You can see how that could work. So if we do build a launch group, we get those ratings and reviews. That gives us equity in Amazon, that marketplace. We know that marketplace is prime for people wanting to buy stuff. Nobody goes to Amazon for something for free unless you paid for an Amazon Prime account, but that's free with strings attached. And then you get then if you want to start making your first initial sales, definitely you want to get those early adopters. You want to award those early adopters, which is why you give them more value in a bundle package and you sell it for less before you go to a regular price. And then on top of that, when whatever you're doing to promote this effort, you got to be that purple cow. You got to be something remarkable. And it all it means is that you got to look at whatever else is doing and like what would make sense for your particular project and how you could stand out. Is it like holding your breath underwater for so long, with like graphics to say, you're holding up like buy now, Amazon, whatever, 200 5-star ratings, check it out, blah, 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 whatever it is before, you die underwater. Anything that you get like that gimmick to work. So you can imagine if that's working for books, why can't it work for film? And it may not be me who eventually does it. I'm sure somebody else has. And if somebody else has done this before and had success, gosh, let me know. I think this kind of stuff is what other filmmakers need to hear, or just start thinking outside the box of like how we can take advantage of these other marketplaces that are just popping up left and right. And if we know how they work, or how other industries are working the angle, we can learn from it. So with that said, I always end these hangouts with my little my little free giveaway, which is don't go away empty-handed. The question is, what equipment did I use to make a feature film for $500 with no crew? You can go to freegearguide.com and you get this free equipment list of everything I used to make this micro-budgeted film. And then when you get this free gear guide, you'll also be signed up for the Film Trooper newsletter. So I try to give you as many valuable emails to help you as a filmmaker become an entrepreneur, which is what Film Trooper is all about, is to help filmmakers become entrepreneurs. And then really what that means is when you're becoming an entrepreneur, you are essentially, selling your product online. Because if you sell one product online, then you're going to figure out like, wait a minute, how do I make more money? Or how do I sell more products? Or how do I sell more units of this one product? And in that whole process of doing the selling and marketing of your art and your product, you will eventually become an entrepreneur. So that's kind of what Film Trooper is all about. And with that said, I'm going to sign off. But if Ed, let's see here. If you want to chat, further, let's get you on. Well, let me see. I should be able to write back to you. I don't know why I can't write back to you. Hold on a second. I can select you. Selecting question. Please wait. Okay. All right. So how do I answer back? I've done this before. Look at me. Done. Well, let's see. Ed, here I'm gonna write right now my email address, so you guys can just um, email me. This is weird. I never had this problem before with the Q&A. It was working just fine prior. I'm selecting it, but I don't know why I can't answer it back to you. Hold on for a second. Let me try this one more time. Yeah, if anybody's out there, like I said, this Q&A app is supposed to allow me to actually answer a question. And I see the questions, and I want to write something, but I can't write something. I can't write something. All right, so here we go. And I'm gonna at the bottom is Hangout. If you want to check it out, Ed, I'm gonna leave my email address. Here we go. I'm gonna write it in. I'm actually gonna email you right now. I think I'm gonna add you, Mr. Ed Starkey. Thanks for joining in. And then I'm gonna email you my info, and you can let's follow up and see if we can't answer those questions that you have. Let's see here. Okay. Well, with that said, I am going to sign out. It's been a great Friday. Hope it wasn't too long. It's only like 40, 45 minutes of this hangout. I do hope people get some value out of this, and I hope to supersize Film Marketing Fridays more to get you know, you know, more of a discussion with other filmmakers to see what projects they're working on. I'd love to have filmmakers on live with me on the hangout so that we can discuss their film product and we can just sort of explore the different marketing strategies or what their situation is, and we see if we can't help other filmmakers build sort of a marketing plan. Because again, my belief is that film production is no longer a barrier because anybody can make a film, and film distribu film distribution is no longer a barrier because obviously you can upload your film to almost you know a, I don't know, there's countless of sites now, countless of services that you can throw your film online and start selling it to an audience worldwide. So that leaves the last barrier, which is marketing, to be heard. How do you get your stuff heard amongst all this other noise that's being made if there's so much product being generated? So that's what Film Marketing Fridays is designed to do, is to try to help answer some of these questions or build strategies. And if we can get some specific strategies for other filmmakers coming on, just keep following me and see where we go with this. And I will be as much of a guinea pig on my crappy projects for you as much as possible, so you can see what works and what doesn't work. Right now, I'm going to try out with this book idea to see if this strategy indeed has some value in terms of building the launch group, doing the bundled discount price, and then trying to do something outstanding and remarkable. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I am going to sign out as soon as I leave you with this nice, pretty picture. There we go. Okay. Thanks for hanging out with me. Film Trooper presents Film Marketing Fridays. Talk to you soon. Bye.